Welcome to my What the Fuck Tarot Forecast Week 2. So for those who are new, who never seen my video before, I'm Eliza Rose, also known as Pleiadian Star Healer. I developed this forecast where we discuss what is the current what the fuck energy, what is the energy behind that energy, the lesson or the purpose, and then how you can shift that what the fuck energy into a blessing. Okay, so we're gonna do from today, which is August 20 to the 27. Yeah, 27. All right, so with this week's, because it's a weekly thing. Okay, so with this week's what the fuck tarot forecast, I'm gonna be using the Secretariat of the Heart, which I love. I got it yesterday. Immediately felt a connection with it, and I think it's brilliant. I mean, I think John Holland's stuff is really pretty good. I feel like I connect very easily with his stuff. Okay, so let's see what is the what the fuck energy for this week into next week. Okay, things that you might be going through. I can never shuffle when I want to shuffle on cue. So let's see. Okay, so okay, I like this. So I'm going to show you what they are. So the current what the fuck energy for this week is trust. So you may be having issues with trusting that the things that are happening are in your favor. And if you've seen me a couple of times with my daily guidance videos, my divine messages, you know, I am a true believer that whatever comes, whatever goes, they're both in your favor. See, and we all have issues with that. Because we always feel like we hold on to things, you know, we get very attached to outcomes, you know, our goals, which is great, but you know, we all know by experience that the universe does not work like that. Okay, so this energy right here is telling you, you just have to trust that everything that's happening, like you're on the right path. Okay, even if you are your own worst critic, and you judge yourself harshly and you feel like you've made poor choices. We all make poor choices, but the whole point is always the lesson, right? So it doesn't mean that you're on the wrong path, because everything that you do leads to your destination. Okay, whether it goes quickly, whether it goes slow, remember that it leads to your destination, to your main goal. So whatever twists and turns you're doing during this time, they all lead to the same final outcome. Okay, so here you just have to trust that things are working in your favor, even if you can't see it right now. You just have to just believe. Also, this is also telling you, like, maybe there's something you want to do but you're not too sure about. You know, you probably like gripped. I was gonna say gripped, but you know, you hold on to fear. But you see how she's like, her arms open, and she's jumping. Okay, so it's basically say like you have to learn to also take the risk. Okay, you can't always live in fear, because if you're always in the same circle, see how you have circles there? If you're always in the same circle and you don't really learn how to jump and take risks, then you're really never gonna know, you know, what could happen. You know, you're actually just delaying. It's not like you're never gonna get to your goal because you don't take risks. You're just delaying the process, because you're gonna get there eventually. But then when you do move and you feel and you see that things are working in your favor, then you'll be like, why didn't I do that before? Right? We all do that, like all would have, could have, should have kind of thing. So, you know, the energy is just saying, trust that everything is working in your favor, because everything is. If you find yourself in a relationship that things are kind of like conflictive, or just like you feel lonely, or you feel like things are falling apart, just trust that everything is working for you, because it is, okay? And if there is something you want to do, like there's like this calling to it, but then you're like, no, because I'm too afraid, you get so we're creatures of habit and we like to stay in the same place. This is basically saying, like, just jump. Sometimes you have to jump and just say, you know what, I'm gonna be caught. That's where trust comes in. You have to go with that mindset that you're gonna jump off the cliff and you are going to be caught. There's gonna be some type of netting for you, okay? Because we usually, before we jump, we fear that there's nothing that's gonna be there to catch us. But when we actually do it, we see that we were wrong, right? So that is the what the fuck energy for this week into next week. Okay, working on the trusting in yourself, trusting in the universe, trusting that everything that you're living right now, especially if you're making healthy choices and you're, establishing healthy boundaries, things are working in your favor. Okay, so now what is the purpose, or what's the energy behind this? Like, what is the whole point, right? And then we have healing begins. Okay, see how she's looking behind the veil. She's daring to look behind, through the darkness, right? So it's the same thing with the trust. The whole point is to heal your self-doubt, any mistrust that you have, especially if you feel like you've had like a pattern of always making the same mistakes or being very judgmental on yourself. This trusting yourself and seeing how things turn out in your favor will help you release that fear, and it will give you more courage, more happiness, especially if you're pursuing something that makes you happy. It's gonna promote more healing in your life. Okay, so, and then we have, like, what's the lesson? Okay, what is the purpose of all of these two cards here? Okay, and then we have darkest fears. See, the whole point is learning how to overcome your fear, because we are so prone to fear, anxiety, overwhelming. I always was curious of why is it that us humans were so easy to do the negative than the positive, so we're so easy to give in to this, to the negative feelings and negative thoughts and just this, just not going with the phases. That's life. This is life. We're gonna have ups and downs. There are gonna be things that we don't feel like it's in our favor, but they're just lessons, because they're trying to teach us something that in the future perhaps we're gonna have to apply, because that's where repetitive patterns come from, because we always meet with the same pattern, maybe people, so whatever you're learning now, trust that you will heal from that, and you will learn from it, and you're going to be able to apply that. Okay, so this whole point is to learn to push past the fear, push past the negativity, to trust in yourself, and that is the true way of healing, diving into the shadow and being able to make that fear work for you. You got to do it anyway. Like, if you heard that expression, something scares you, do it anyway, because how else are you gonna learn? We are here to live. We're not just here to just breathe, and we're here to live, to learn, to apply what we learn to the future. And if reoccurring situations happen, we know how to handle them. We become warriors, and masters of our own life. Okay, and so how can you change the what the fuck energy into a blessing? Okay, and then the last card is, look at that, detach. Okay, and she has the dove, peace. She's she has like the barren wasteland, knowing when to step away. You see how she's stepping out of her shadow. Okay, sometimes people say like, oh, it's not human to be detached, and I think that people usually miss the point. Or maybe there are people who believe that the ultimate thing is to have no feelings, but it's not, in my opinion. Of course, I don't feel that when they say detached, they mean like now have no feelings, because that's impossible. And who wants to be with no feelings. We're not, psychopathic or, like, come on. Detached, I feel, for me, is to be in awareness, okay? To know when to step out of things and to analyze, to detach yourself from what you feel needs to be done, okay? Like we were saying, to trust. Sometimes we hold on to things, like, for example, like maybe there's a relationship that you're holding on to tightly, and sometimes holding on too tightly can bring a lot of tension and a lot of unhappiness, so you have to know when to detach for your own peace. Also, sometimes when we don't want to jump for something because we are afraid of it, we have to detach from that fear and say, you know what, it's okay to be scared. You have to recognize, acknowledge, yes, I'm afraid, it's okay to be afraid, but to step out of that and say, you know what, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to overcome my fears, okay? And with that, all the healing begins, Also detaching for anything that you've been through, if you've been through traumatic experiences, well, not traumatic, because I know it's difficult because, you need therapy for that. For people who know me, I'm really big on therapy. I always recommend my clients, if I feel like they need it, to go seek out therapy. But if you've been through situations, where we can still be holding on to resentment, to anger, things like that, like detaching yourself from it can really help, bring about healing, more like release, okay? So that is this week's What the Fuck, So if you find yourself in a situation where you're in between, you're afraid, you're uncertain, not sure what to do, you're questioning everything, you just have to trust yourself. You need to learn to trust yourself, even if you've done things that you're not proud of. Everybody does, but like I said before, this is life. We're meant to live it. We're meant to make mistakes, and they're not really mistakes if you think of it. They're just things you have to do in order for you to learn. And some people need to repeat certain things for them to get it, like, really ingrained. Okay, so if you have difficulties with trust, just trust that everything is working in your favor, okay? And that healing will begin. You just gotta make that effort. You see how she's jumping through, how she's walking through the veil, even she's walking out of something, it all has to do with taking that one step forward. That's all it takes for the ball to start rolling. Just take that first step and everything else will just go right through. All right, so that is your weekly What the Fuck forecast. And as always, it was a pleasure. And remember, whatever stays, whatever goes, they're both in your favor. And I will see you next week. Be sure to follow me on my Facebook and Instagram. I will leave the link in the description box. And if you want to see more videos, please feel free to subscribe, and to share. Thank you so much. Have a lovely weekend, and I will see you all next week.